What's going on? This is another 365 straight days of happiness partnership edition. And today I'm going to talk about, or I'm going to reference the Yandy and Mendeecees situation, which we all know. Because a lot of relationships and marriages, they are failing because of certain key areas and certain key signs that people are not paying attention to. And the only reason why I'm referencing them is because a lot of people are struggling in these same areas. A lot of men are making the same decisions as he made, and a lot of women are making the same decisions as she made. So it's not necessarily about them. They are a reference. This is really about all of us because we are all making these same mistakes. But the goal is always to upgrade your relationship or your marriage to a partnership. That is the ultimate goal for the long run.
Now if I treat you the way I treat me, that motivates you to do what we need. Now if you treat me the way you treat you, and maybe we'll be one as two can be. I know I'm good for you, you good for me, we good for each other.
So these are the three key areas that I'm going to talk about right here. The key areas that people are struggling in. We all know and understand what is happening. We can understand what is happening in our relationship and what is happening in our marriage. But what we're overlooking is how these issues are coming about, when these issues are coming about. If you don't completely understand what is happening, how is it happening, when is it happening, you cannot solve issues. You can only stack them up. And in those 5, 10, 15, and 20 years, it becomes harder and harder to stick with somebody. You two could be two good people, but I can guarantee you, you don't fix your problems, you don't resolve your issues. After 10, 15, and 20 years, somebody or both people are going to look like the bad guy. And that's just how it is. Because certain areas in your bond is bent and broken, and you have not repaired it over time and prevented it from being bent and broken. But that's why I'm here. I'm going to help you with that. So to start off, Yandy and Mendeecees, they've been together since the early 2000s. They've been together for about 16 years, I believe, before they split up. Last year, 2024, they went to marriage counseling, and Mendeecees straight up admitted that he's not wearing his ring because the ring symbolizes being one and being together, which he was struggling with Yandy. He also admitted that if the roles was reversed as far as him going in, that if Yandy went in, he don't know if he would have been as supportive. Now, a lot of people, especially women, is probably really looking down on this man for the things that he is saying. But you have to understand why he's saying it. Understand how they are having these issues, because then you can pinpoint the areas where they are struggling in. And once you understand it, then you can actually resolve it. This is what it looks like, and this is what it sounds like when problems linger around for year after year and it piles up on top of each other. So Yandy also admitted that she didn't think that Mendeecees would ever not support her if the roles was reversed, but she did admit that her friends was telling her that homie wasn't going to support her. So they already knew from the outside looking in. So she was making the mistake of not understanding the type of bond that she actually had with this man. Let's talk about it, because a lot of people make these same mistakes. So let's talk about the very first thing. Pay attention to the signs. A lot of women make these same mistakes. You don't pay attention to the signs, and you do not value the signs. You value the idea of being with someone because you just want a man, or you want your relationship, or you want your partnership. You want it to be a certain type of way. So therefore, you play the role like everything is good, everything is great. So from the outside looking in, it looks like everything is great. But from the inside out, it's not so great. And when you don't pay attention to the signs that things are going bad, or things are bad, or things are bad in certain moments, then you are not paying attention to how to resolve these issues. You're probably sweeping the issues under the rug. And what happens is once you sweep so many problems under the rug, that pile gets up so high and it just takes one false step. Then poof, all your problems is out in the air. And that's what causes arguments. And that's what causes resentment. That's what causes two people that's together as one to split apart. And you have all this space in between you. And that's when mistakes arises. Also, from a man's perspective, if you're not paying attention to the signs, even if you are the one that's giving the signals and telling this woman, this is how you feel, this is what you think, and this is how you feel about her, this is how you feel about what you two are building together. If you're not paying attention to the signs that she ain't really getting it, that she's going to continue to go hard, no matter what mistakes or F-ups that she was making, whatever she was doing to push you away, to not listen to you, to not pay attention, and you're not paying attention to these signs, that means that you're not understanding that she gonna keep going no matter what you do or say, because she value what you all have. And what you all have is much more important than what it actually is. The title is much more important than how the vehicle is running. And some people are just like that. And so, ladies, if you are like that, and fellas, if you do have a woman like that, both of y'all really got to sit down and just put y'all relationship, y'all marriage, y'all bond out on the table. And you got to have a serious conversation about it. Because the longer y'all go on, the further apart that y'all going to split. And so he wasn't following the signs that she was never going to give up. She was never going to divorce him. She was never going to give him up. She was going to keep going forever and forever, because that's where her heart was. So fellas and ladies, you gotta pay attention to the signs. You can't get to the end of the road and be like, I don't understand how this happened. I don't know why he feel the way that he feel. I don't know why she feel the way that she feel. How can you not know? If you've been with somebody for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and you don't understand why they think the way that they think, how they feel the way that they feel, the decisions that they made, and you have spent all of these years with this person, pretty much every day with this person, y'all have woke up and went to bed with each other every night for years on top of years, and after all this time, you don't understand why it's crumbling? You don't understand why the building that you two are building is crumbling, why there's holes and cracks in your foundation? You don't understand, and you've been sitting there building with this person? That means that you was not paying attention to the signs. You have to pay attention to the signs, and you have to react on the signs as soon as they show it to you. As soon as the signs presents itself, you got to respond to it right away. So fellas and ladies, pay attention to the signs. Second thing that we got on our list, building with someone is hard when you're the only person building. When you're building in your relationship or marriage, and you working as hard as you can work, you putting in your time, your effort, everything that's positive, that's in your heart, you giving it all that you got, regardless if it's enough for the other person, regardless of what you have to give is what that person want and need. From your perspective, you are giving it your all, and you are building. Every day you putting the bricks up there, every day building this building, and you look over and you see the person that you building with ain't building. You the only person building? What? You cannot allow that to happen for too long. You wouldn't allow that to happen at your workplace. Why would you allow that to happen in your relationship or marriage? Something that's way more important than your job. You know, it's not a person out there that will work at a company that's doing a 2-person job by themselves, and they look over and see the person that's supposed to be helping them chilling on their phone, on social media, while you doing all this work by yourself, a 2-person job, and you're going to continue to do it year after year after year? Why this person is giving you excuses and reasons why they can't do it, you're not gonna do it. You're gonna let them know, you're gonna let management know, you're gonna let the whole world know. You ain't doing a 2-person job by yourself. And you shouldn't. So why would you do it in a relationship or marriage? It's the same concept. So ladies, you cannot build and push to keep something alive that's dead. You cannot put your all into reviving something that's dead. You can't put your all into healing something and patching something up that don't want to be healed or patched, that don't appreciate what you have to offer. They don't appreciate you building. And they're not building as fast, as efficient, or at all. You can't be the only person doing a 2-person job. A relationship or marriage, it takes 2 people to build that up to a partnership. It takes 2 people to build that building. You cannot do it by yourself. Fellas, you can't do it by yourself. And you cannot sit back and watch somebody else build while you sit there and chill. That is not the ideal place for a man. If you see your woman building and you ain't building, do you know what that's doing to your personal standards? As you're watching somebody doing the job that you should be doing and helping out with, you're lowering your standards as a man. You're watering down the experience of being with you. And therefore, you ultimately is wasting your own time. And we're going to get to that. You can't sit back and think that just because this other person is building and providing a stable lifestyle, a stable household, and they got their stuff together, that it's cool for you to sit back and just watch them build when you know that what they're building, this is not what you want. And that's okay that that's not what you want. But you cannot just watch somebody build something that you know that you don't want to be in. Do not waste your own time. Fellas, do not waste your own time. This will water down the type of man that you are, and it won't build you up to be a man amongst men and a king amongst kings. Because if you were built up that way, and you're seeing your significant other build something that you don't want to build, you will let that person know straight up. Now, I'm okay with helping them build, even though you may feel like this is not what you want, but you're going to put your all into it to see what it is and make your final decision. That's cool. But if you're not building while they are building and pushing forward, as a man, as a king, you got to say, hey, stop building. We need to have a conversation. You got to. Because for this reason right here, wasting someone's time, it's the same as wasting yours. Just because someone else is more established, they have more resources, they may have more connections. That person could be the best person that you have ever been with overall. However, if that is not the person that you need, just because that's a good person does not mean nothing. If that person is not the person that you need, and this is just a come up, because being with that person is still a step up from where you are used to or where you came from, you are still wasting your time. You can develop and upgrade yourself in ways that you need to give your all and to constantly just build on top of that, because you're wasting your time with that person. You're not going to build with that person. You're not going to upgrade with that person. You're not going to do and say the things that need to be said to actually build with that person and upgrade yourself. You're going to sit back, you're going to do the bare minimum while they're doing most of the building, and you're just going to reap the benefits of what they're building. But once you two are broken up, both of y'all are going to be in the same position. You're going to be in the same situation. You got to start over regardless with somebody else. You in the same spot. And if you have not upgraded yourself mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, because you held back with this person while they were building, you're going to get in your next relationship and you have a high chance of messing that relationship up because you're not used to building with somebody. especially when you've been with that person for many, many years, over a decade of not really building how you should be building because you didn't really value it. You're going to take that same mentality to your next relationship. And then that relationship could ultimately end the same way, or you cannot reach that same 365 straight days of happiness that you didn't get in your previous relationship or marriage. It has nothing to do with the title. It's the nature of y'all relationship and the strength of y'all bond that's actually important. And so, ladies, the same thing. If you are the woman that's doing your hardest and going hard and building as much as you can build, as efficient as you can build, you cannot waste your time being the only person that's building. Because what's going to happen with you is that you're going to be so accustomed to being kept and being with someone that you are willing to accept someone else that won't put in half the work that you're willing to put into. And you're still going to be with them. So you're going to lower your standards for a partner just to be with somebody. And when that is over with, what you're going to say is that you just did all the right things for the wrong person. And that is not true. You might have done a lot of good things, but you obviously didn't do the things that that person needed. And you didn't follow the signs. You didn't pay attention to the signs. And you couldn't make the right adjustments. Or you couldn't just go your separate way, because every situation can't be built. Every relationship out there right now can't be fixed. Every marriage can't be fixed. You can most definitely try, but it takes two. If two people want to fix a broken relationship and marriage, it can be done. If you are the only one that's really pushing for that idea, if you're the only one that's valuing that title of being with each other or being married, if you are the only one that's valuing it, you gotta go your own separate way. Because having that title don't mean nothing. Having the title to a car means absolutely nothing if you can't drive that car whenever you want to. Having a title to a broken down car in your driveway that ain't going nowhere means absolutely nothing. It could be the most expensive vehicle from the outside looking in, but if you ain't going nowhere, you can't take it nowhere, it's worthless. So you gotta know your worth. You gotta know the worth of the relationship or marriage that you have. And you got to be honest with yourself, because a lot of times it takes two to make a relationship or marriage bad. And you have to self-reflect. Your decisions is what led up to it. Even if you believe you did all the right things and it still turned out bad and you want to blame the other person, you're going to take that to your next relationship, thinking that you doing all of the right things and you're not doing all the right things. Because if you was doing all the right things, you would have picked the right person for you. If you was doing all the right things, you would have recognized when things started to be a problem. When the other person isn't building as fast as you. When there are things that you're doing or not doing, things that you're saying or not saying, that's pushing that other person away, you'll be able to recognize it from the very, very beginning. So you're not doing everything. Nobody is doing everything. Don't think that you have done everything for the wrong person and you can just do those same things for the next person. You're going to get the same results. Pay attention to the signs. Don't build on your own, and do not waste your time. You have to know if what you have with this person is worth saving, worth building, worth investing in. Because if you are the only person investing and you're not investing properly, you're going to lose your investment either way. And to be clear, for anybody that think that the man, just because he's the one that falls off first for what y'all building, that he's the bad guy. He's not the bad guy. He's just the first person to just check out, because that could have easily been a woman that checked out. So there are no victims. You have to take accountability for the things that you do. Whenever there's a failed relationship or marriage, you have to look at yourself first. If you cannot look at yourself first and say, what could I have done differently? What could I have done differently, even in the dating scene? Go all the way back to the beginning and figure out how you got here all these years later. If you cannot figure it out and upgrade yourself, You're going to go through the same thing over and over and over again with different guys. You're going to go through the same thing over and over and over again with different women. And so I'm going to need y'all out there to upgrade yourselves personally and know how to upgrade your relationship or marriage to a partnership. So we won't have these failed marriages and failed relationships. I hate to see people be together for so long and break up in such a bad way. And when one person looks like the bad guy or both people look like the bad guys, I hate to see that, because you invested so much of your time and effort into something and it failed. And then you think now that you're single, you can just go on and meet somebody else and it's just going to be all great. But as history shows, if that was the case, we all would get it wrong the first time and get it right the second time. And there's a reason why we have so many exes and so many baby mamas and baby daddies and multiple kids by multiple people, because breaking up with somebody is not the answer to finding somebody better. There are a lot of reasons why you broken up and a lot of reasons why you're getting in the same situation over and over and over again. Understand what, when, why, and how things are happening, not just what's happening and judging. Understand everything so that you can understand how to solve it and understand how to prevent your problems. But I'm going to go to the solution, because we can talk about the problems all day. Let's talk about the solutions.